The following video is about a very unique place. It's called Addu Atoll, and Addu is better known for the RAF stuff, British Air Force, as GAN. GAN used to be what Diego Garcia is nowadays. That's a US base in the middle of the Indian Ocean, and GAN was a RAF base until 1976. And it was mostly a stopover for the RAF going from Britain to Singapore. They made a stop over there, but there's rumors that they also stored nuclear weapons there or launched some rockets. So here you see that was capital of the Maldives, Mali. You will see at the end of the video also, and this is a little plane that goes down there to GAN. They have to fly 1.5 hours, and GAN is about 40-70 km south of the equator. And on the flight down there you see these wonderful atolls and wonderful islands of the Maldives. Most of them uninhabited or just tourist resorts. Nobody lives there really. And that's a major difference. Here's the approach to GAN. Some of the old RAF staff might remember here it's low tides going over the outer reef, and then the airstrip comes along, and it's really a nice big airstrip. You can land, of course, with B-52 there if you want to. And I think now is 2024. This was about 25 years ago, what you see here. Nowadays there's even frequent flights from overseas there, and they build a new terminal. So what you see here is Equator Village Beach. Equator Village used to be the barracks for the officers of the RAF, and they refurbished it and made a sort of a tourist resort out of it, but it can't compete at all with the other tourist resorts on the Maldives. It's not a 5-star place, and that's exactly what I was looking for. First of all, this whole history of Addu, and secondly, there's about 20,000 people living in Addu. Not on this island where you see Equator Village here, but on the other islands you're gonna see soon. That is interesting. I'm a traveler, I want to meet people, I want to see how the Maldives people live. You see a little baby shark here right on the beach? It's a diver's paradise. This was the place where I made my party, and even the advanced one. You see the buffet here. It was Christmas Eve. Wonderful local fruit and everything. This whole place is not upscale, but it's really nice. I really loved it, and the people are so incredibly friendly. Then you take the boat, go out. What we did then, when I had my license, to the outer reef and do some diving here. You see the dolphins going with the boat, and the diving is world class. This video is not about diving, but I've been diving in between 20 manta rays, and the coral was totally unspoiled. There was no El Nino there. Probably one of the best dive sites in the world. And it's going steep down to 5,000 meters on the outer reef. You really have to be careful because of the currents. We nearly lost some guys over there. They were not cautious enough. And within the atoll you have these little islands on the outer reef. You see here. I read that they built resorts on one of these, but this was totally unspoiled, and you get there by a little boat. And I really had fun to stroll along these beaches on these little tiny islands there. This is the Maldives as they're supposed to be or have been. I think nowadays things changed, but it's a wonderful atoll. Just look at this, at the colors. I only have seen such colors in Aitutaki in the Southern Pacific, also an atoll that could compete with that, but this is really beautiful. The corals within the atoll, of course, coming up, and you can snorkel there. But once you get to the outer reef, it's really heavy diving, yes. You drop in and then you drift along these walls of totally untouched world-class corals surrounded by sharks and mantas, and it's just wonderful. This little boat, we went there with the guys, and I strolled along on this tiny little island. Was the only one there. Incredible. I'm pretty sure that on these tourist islands they put away all this shell stuff and some of this, like this, natural things that are really normal to these sort of islands. Also, the vegetation here is quite diverse. You see later on the main island. This is a dam. It's connecting the tourist island, let's say, or the airport island with the main island where you meet the people. Some of the sailors there, really hardcore sailors, go out to the Indian Ocean. Here's some impressions of the main island. They really got a road here, and you stroll along with a bicycle. As I said, the people are incredibly friendly. They're really happy to meet somebody. I don't know if it's still like that today. You see the kids probably coming from school and going directly to the sea or do fishing. And that's what I really like. I don't want to go to these tourist resorts where you're totally isolated. And well, for the people, it's a way to earn some money because people on Guyana are not that rich. But they have a peaceful living, and it's not too many foreigners hanging around there. Look at that little ferries going to some other islands. The kids were so friendly. It's always nice to see them into sports. Many of those guys are really into sports. Well, there's cemetery and everything is very traditional in a way, yes. Look at these streets. And the guy fishing there with this typical net you can find all over India, also Sri Lanka. I bet you never see that in a tourist resort on the Maldives. In a way, this is geographically, it's not Maldives anymore. It's totally unique and outer island. There's a bicycle. There's also some wrecks there. In tourist places they would put them away. This is me speaking in German language. Just let this guy talk. And for my German friends here, they can hear.
Und ist ziemlich weit weg vom Mali. Man muss ungefähr 1,5 Stunden mit einer Propellermaschine in Richtung Süden fliegen, also im Prinzip in Richtung Seychellen. Das ist auch ein Stützpunkt hier, den die Briten bis 1976 als Airbase gehabt haben. Auf Ghan, das ist eine Insel ziemlich weit da hinten rüber. Da komme ich gerade mit dem Fahrrad her. Ja, und Addu ist eigentlich alles andere, als die Malediven normalerweise sind. Es gibt hier eigentlich nicht diese Inselresorts, sondern es gibt ein kleines Hotel, das früher ein Offizierscasino war der britischen Luftwaffe. Und dort wohnen ein paar Touristen. Es ist im Prinzip touristisch kaum erschlossen und das einzige Atoll auf den Malediven, wo man mit den Einheimischen auch wirklich Kontakt aufnehmen kann und sich das traditionelle maledivensische Leben auch ansehen kann. Und das gefällt mir besonders gut hier. Wenn man dann in die Lagune hineinfährt, hier hat es keine Korallenbleiche gegeben. Durch El Niño hat man die wunderbarsten Korallen und gestern haben wir ganz viele Delfine hier gesehen. Ich denke, im Video wird noch einiges mehr davon rüberkommen, was es hier zu sehen gibt. Ich finde es schon ganz besonders. Es ist wieder einer dieser Orte am Ende der Welt, wo man eigentlich nicht erwartet, diese Dinge vorzufinden, die man hier findet. Es ist doch alles sehr nett. Die Leute sind unglaublich gebildet, sprechen alle Englisch, sind sehr freundlich. Also einer der freundlichsten Orte überhaupt, die ich bis jetzt auf der Welt gesehen habe. Und ja, ich wünsche viel Spaß bei dem Video.
Ah, he's finished now. This is his bicycle, and what you could have seen at his face is it's pretty hot. It's really hot and over 90% humidity. So these guys doing sports there, they're really tough. But as you can see, people are very friendly. The ladies there, everybody's very shy looking at you and they want to have contact. Look at the bus with these guys are there. I really love that. I'm a third world guy, you know. Been to Africa, South America, Asia, all over Asia. I love this. I love it. I love these people. They want to have peace. Really, everybody wants to have peace in life. There are quite some very weird aircrafts. This is Gan Airport, and there was another guy, a Russian oligarch, landing on the island. He lost his camera, $3,000, and then they sent him a new one from Russia. And another of the planes, the pilots were hanging around in hammocks. I'm pretty sure they came from Zaire by their very old Russian military plane, maybe privatized, to do these cobalt flights down in Central Africa. This is the runway, and those days, well, 25 years ago, was a little bit of an adventure in a way. And this is the surrounding of this airport is very interesting also nature-wise. And I hope some old RAF stuff looks at this video and can tell some stories about what was going on there those days. You can write down in the comments, of course, but be positive, yes. Again, low tide, and you have a lot of animals. The whole scenery on the airstrip island is very peaceful because only once in a while there's a plane coming. And you see and hear. The evenings are very peaceful. When the wind calms down, it's very, very peaceful. Romantic in a way. You will never see such sceneries on different Maldives islands. Because Mali is quite different, you're gonna see later on. There's quite a few cars, and in the evening the fruit bats are coming. Look at this. Sailor's paradise. Some tracks. And every now and then you stroll off to the beach and have a look. Mostly alone. There's nobody gardening or doing something about that. It's like it's supposed to be, and that's what I like also. Look at this beach. I bet you don't find it on a resort island. That's Equator Village. As I've said, that was the officers' barracks, and I don't think they did many things to it. Maybe the pool, of course, that's new, but who needs a pool there? Because you see to the right there's the beach, and you can go snorkeling immediately right at that beach. And from there, there's station for the divers, and you can go out by the boat to the outer reef. That takes about an hour to get to the outer reef. That's somewhere at the horizon there. And there it gets pretty rough because it's high surf and you drop in, but underwater it's really, really paradise. Unbelievable. I've been diving a lot on Bali and the Caribbean, but this was my first dives, and it never has been better than there. This is the places where you stay. You need a mosquito net at night, of course, because they got dengue and all these things you might get, but it's not that viral, I would say. Just be careful. So here comes the flight back by the turboprop, and just some impressions on the way back. Here you're gonna see the whole island of Addu once it's started. At this point, I must say, 2 years later, I wanted to go again, or me and my wife wanted to go again, and we took the flight from Düsseldorf, Germany to Mali. And at the approach, it was about 200 meters or 300 meters above ground. They had to do a turnaround, a go-around, and the captain said, well, they had a tidal wave going over the airport, and that was the tsunami. You remember this big catastrophe. So 5 minutes later, we would have landed right into the tsunami, and the story is we then had to go into the holding there, and after that, because of the gas running out, they had to go to Sri Lanka, and we landed in Colombo, and they didn't let us out of the airport, and we didn't know what happened. So I was watching BBC on the television, going somewhere on in the airport, and then they said, well, there's 1,000 casualties, then it was 10,000, then they said 100,000, especially where we landed in Sri Lanka. And it was really a catastrophe because on the outside we've seen crowds wanting to get out of the country, but we've been already in, but they didn't let us out, so our plane was still standing there. And the crew left immediately, but they found a different crew, and after about 10 hours or so, they said, okay, we enter the plane again, go back directly to Germany. So we flew in, had 10 hours in Colombo, and went back to Germany, and there the press waited for us. And I would never recommend to talk to the press after such a disaster. Some people were really idiots, crying like, oh, we lost our holidays. But there were over 100,000 people losing their lives. And I had contact to the diving base center there, and they said, okay, the whole Addu Atoll, the water went out, and the boat was nearly on the ground, and then the water came back again, so that they didn't have a tidal wave. And the alternative for us at this Christmas was, before I booked Addu again, I wanted to book Koh Phi Phi Island in Thailand, and exactly that place I wanted to book, there most people died, yes. It was this place with this isthmus where they have two beaches, and one on the other side, and two mountains, but you stay on the beach, and this was totally trashed, and you can see some videos on YouTube. So we were really lucky. And what do you do after that? Never dive again? And I booked immediately when we came back. I booked Fuerteventura and went diving to get out of this. And the diving guy on Fuerteventura told me 20 of his best friends died in diving while this tsunami came in Thailand, and there were about 30 meters and it pressed them down to 60, 70 meters, and they didn't decompress, so each of them died. And so we both took some dives on Fuerteventura and drank some beer. Really horrible story. We were really lucky, and that was my second attempt to go to Addu. Maybe I should never go there again. This is landing in Mali, and Mali is quite a big city. Not many people know this, but it's like an aircraft carrier with big buildings. Yes, you see here. Very busy harbor. And nowadays they do some business with China now, and India is a little bit off limits now. So India is trying to put up the Andamans. They are north of Maldives as a tourist spot that has been off limits so far. Let's see what happens there, but I must say I really like this is typical what I like. Vibrant life on the streets, everybody's busy, people are friendly. I have got the impression criminality is not an issue there, and you can stroll along at night. We did that. It's not beautiful, but it's the truth of the Maldives, yes. Today they say they turn to ecological handling of their garbage and everything. Those days there was an island where they burned it, and I don't know, I hope they do it and get more self-sufficient with solar and wind and whatever. At night it's really nice. Also the mosque there, really impressive, and as you can see on this very packed with people place. Look, it was full moon, nearly full moon. And yeah, normally travelers don't spend a day or two in Malé. They go directly to the resorts. We took some days there, and it's really recommendable to understand Maldives is not what you see in the catalog. Also, Addu is not what you see in the catalog. So here I stop it, and I think, yeah, you can write down something, we can discuss it. I don't know how it's today. See you next time.